Okay, we're live.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hamlin Conservation Advisory Board. The exits are on either end of the building, left to right. The handicap is to your right, and the AED equipment is right across the hallway from our door here. Cheryl, please call the roll.
Janine Clark. Here. Clark Mahaney.
Here.
Steve Rutherford.
Here.
Louis Stephensenti.
Here.
And Will Mark Carey absent.
Okay.
We'll change it if she shows up.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the approval of the minutes. Everybody has had a copy of the minutes. Let's read through them. Are there any amendments or corrections to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May 27th.
All right. Been moved and seconded that we accept the minutes. Cheryl, can you poll?
Janine Clark.
Yes.
Clark Mahaney.
Yes.
Steve Rutherford.
Yes.
Louis Stephensenti.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Now we'll go right into the, everything's open to the public forum, so if there's any questions from the audience, please feel free to ask at any time. Go into the reports. Janine, and the planning board.
Okay, planning board minutes. Planning board Monday, June 5th. There were two public hearings. The first one was a preliminary and final single lot subdivision for Eric Peters on 101 Wiley Road. The public hearing was open. There were no members present wishing to speak. Engineering concerns have all been addressed. We will need a conservation corridor development permit, and they're in the process of waiting for approval from the DEC because of the connection to the sewers will be going boring under the wetlands in the area. So this application is designated an unlisted seeker negative declaration, and a motion was made for the preliminary final single lot subdivision with the following conditions. They have to remove or relocate the silt fence. They have to make an application for the conservation corridor development permit. And I believe they have applied for the EC permit, but they're still waiting to hear back from them. The second public hearing was from Anthony and Adam Zamiara, 75 Walker Road. This is for a special use permit. They went to the zoning board to get an approval on an issue of fill. They want to operate a small sawmill on the premises, and also relief from Town Code 520-11A-3C, using an accessory building for a purpose not specifically listed in the code, but deemed by the planning board to be similar in nature and compatible with other purposes in the RVL zoning. Open the public hearing. Supervisor Steve Buzz commented that sawmills are not allowed in the RVL. So it just may depend on whether the planning board deems that it's of similar nature to other purposes that are listed in our code. I noticed that they did have the town attorney present, because we found out at the meeting last month that the planning board's attorney is also the attorney for these applicants. So whenever the board had a question, their planning board attorney couldn't answer because he was representing the applicant. So for this one application that night, the planning board, the town attorney was there in case they needed any legal representation. There was one person who spoke out about the business. He didn't disapprove of it. He said it's not really noisy except when the trucks were dropping off timber. Nobody else was there to speak. It's not a very large operation. They use a wood miser, which is a portable machine. All the work is done on the side, and they're only open 5 days a week, no later than 4:30 in the evening. Just a few employees. So engineering issues were covered. Definition of an accessory building, incidental to main structure should be determined since there's no main structure. But there's no activity outside. So there's some discussion among the board members, but in the end, they designated this as an unlisted negative declaration secret. And the special use permit, a motion was made and approved to grant the special use permit with conditions. On the agenda was single lot subdivision. Excuse me on this one. There was a property merge for Charles Semino, 1730 Apple Hollow Lane, seeking a property merge of two lots into one at 1730 Apple Hollow Lane. There were no issues. It's just merging his existing property with a parcel behind it. No legal or engineering concerns. So that was approved. There was a single lot subdivision application on the agenda for Dan Zerino, Joseph Pepperly, 530 Morton Road. They were seeking a single lot subdivision at 530 Morton Road to their new home. They were scheduled a public hearing for Wednesday, July 5th. There was an agenda addition, Conservation Corridor Development Permit for Dave Balser, 7882 Newport Drive. He wants to install retractable access stage and construct a 3-foot by 10-foot platform over the water. It's non-jurisdictional for the DEC. In Article 15, the protection of waters is not needed. I looked at this and I don't have any issues with the LWRP. So, the Conservation Corridor Development Permit was Scott Caldarelli of 113 Lawrence Cove was seeking a Conservation Corridor Development Permit to remodel his existing house within the same footprint within 100 feet of Sand Creek. This is what is sometimes referred to as the basement house.
Right.
The basement's been there for a while, and so now he's going to build above the basement for structure level. He already has a DEC permit. I was looking at it in terms of the Conservation Corridor Development permit and for the LWRP. So this was good. This was also great. During discussion, because the 4th of July this year is on a Tuesday. Originally, the board meeting would have been on Monday, July 3rd, but it could be a long weekend for some folks. So it was determined that they would change the July meeting to Wednesday, July 12th. And that was the meeting.
All right, thank you very much, Janine. Good job. I'd like to remind everybody that the EMC meeting is canceled until September. We canceled the Fish Advisory Board this month so everybody could attend what was billed as the State of the Lake meeting. However, it wasn't much of a state of the lake. It was basically a informational meeting. That didn't amount to much of anything. However, the interesting topics that came up was that the sea lamprey eradication took place again this year. Had been canceled for the past 2 years due to the Canadians not being able to come across the border and treat the streams. However, there were 19 locations where the streams have been treated for this year, and the sea lampreys have been at their highest level than they have been for the last 10 years or so. The DEC has now started to use DNA to track the fish in Lake Ontario, specifically the Chinook salmon. And what they're trying to track right now is what fish are stocked and what fish are wild. They can actually go back and take a DNA sample, and if it's a hatchery fish, go back to who the mother was, or the pen that the eggs came from. So that was quite interesting.
So they can tell the difference between a pan-reared versus a naturally?
Yes. Yes. They take a DNA sample from the mother from where the eggs were taken, and the father from where the eggs were taken, or used to inseminate the eggs. And they have that little gene pool type. Well, they'll all come back as, Chinook salmon. They get a wild fish, and they don't know who the mother or father is, so their DNA samples will be different. It's just like using forensic science on us. So that was.
So do they reproduce in the wild in addition to what's pen reared?
Well,
Or is that what they're trying to determine?
that's what they're trying to determine. There's a lot of streams in Canada that produce native fish. The streams are cold enough to reproduce. Right now, our major stream system is the Salmon River up in Pulaski, where the Altamar Fish Hatchery is. That water is cold enough to sustain them. And some of the local tributaries out there, if the fish can find an area in which they have several small springs coming into that tributary, where the water is cold enough to support the smolts and stuff, then you can have some hatchery fish come out of that. Unfortunately, Sandy doesn't have very many. Sandy Creek does support rainbow trout, and it does support brown trout. And we're hoping that the new thing with Sandy, of course, is the Atlantic salmon, which they've stocked. That they are going to find cooler water to reproduce in, so they'll have a naturally reproducing strain of Atlantic salmon and sandy. But that's yet to be seen. I know a lot of times that the fish are successful in reproducing, and a number of the eggs will hatch. However, it's too warm to support fingerlings and stuff to survive on their way down to Lake Ontario. So they have that going on. The other thing is that they developed a new strain of brown trout, which is supposed to be a little smarter than the current strains of brown trout that we have right now. The current strains we have right now, you put them in the river systems or their creeks and stuff, and they just sit there and they mill around. And these next type of brown trout are supposed to be more wary and will dissipate once released. The other big topic, of course, was on cormorant. Everybody thinks that they should be delisted off the federal list. However, that's not probably going to happen. The DEC has contracted people when they go to release fish to go out and harass the cormorants when the fish are released. Other methods are taking the fish directly out into Lake Ontario and releasing them at night. But in some areas, the cormorant population is huge, and they got a permit from the federal government to eradicate 400 of them, and that quota was met within just a couple hours.
Doesn't sound like they're endangered, does it?
No, it doesn't sound like they're endangered at all. And in some places where they choose to roost, they will literally do their feces, kill everything, all the vegetation in the trees that they roost in. I mean, they're just terrible.
Are they native to our area?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What preys on them?
Nothing. They have no known predators, and they are a big nuisance. And in some cases, that they think that they're taking at least half of everything that's stocked out of the pen. I mean, we spend all the money to raise up the fish and release them, and these cormorants come along and just wake them out and stuff. The interesting thing is, if you have a trout pond or something like that, you can go to the USGS and apply for a permit, and you can eradicate the cormorants on your property. But other than that, that's all there is for the Fish Advisory Board will meet at a regular time next week. Clark, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Hamlin Town Board meeting, July 12th. Started with the approval of the minutes of the last meeting and the approval of payment of the bills and invoices from the respective whatever, accounts. There was nobody to speak at the public forum. There was a resolution to approve the increase of the annual subscription for QuickBooks to $1,099 for the finance department.
Okay.
And that was passed. The resolution to purchase a new Maytag refrigerator freezer, model number MSS 259N4MKZ from Lowe's for the price of $1,091.55, and that's to replace the broken appliance in the garage. And then the reports from Supervisor Voss, Lineage and Toshiba quotes for document storage and record retention. This is mainly for the assistance of the new state requirements for records in the finance department and employee retirement record keeping. There was discussion about, we have that with CE Tech, and also they can store anything with Google. So they were going to look into what CE Tech might have for that service. The library is done with the preschool story time for the season. Lori Partica donated flowers for the outside boxes. Numbers are up for the library. The dog shelter, Kristen and Lee and Joe Curley donated to Hopesville. Hope was that dog that was found down on the parkway that was, it was about the sweetest dog I ever saw when we got him. But her, she has been adopted. She's a ferret. She's put on a good amount of weight. She really looked good when she left. She still had one sore that wasn't quite healed when she left. But the owner left for a vet and left her in a crate. When she came home, she tore the crate out, got out, tore his curtains down.
Oh, geez.
But he's still having patience with it. And History Center is planning for the camp kids and the library kids and the future upcoming events. Supervisor Boss said there's a process of turning the internet back on. The bill was getting mailed to the wrong address. The History Center really doesn't have a mailing address.
No.
And the bill was getting sent to, I don't know where it ended up, it wasn't there. And construction will be started at the History Center in mid-July. Farm Fest is well underway with bands and that are booked, and they're asking farmers to bring their tractors. The seniors have modified their guidelines, so Wednesday night, I guess we're going to be voting on the new guidelines. Hamlin Martin Fire Water District. 3 firefighters went to class on cutting the vehicle for electric cars. They've had 155 calls year to date. The highway superintendents are continuing on road work for the county, and materials are expected to rise in price. Blacktop has gone up to $20 per ton. Doing some other projects in the county. under the rec department, summer camp will be starting later this month. We have about 36 every day. Sports have started and they're moving the fields up instead of having them in the back. Volunteer Appreciation Day is July 7th. I'm working on the July Jamboree, Fun Fest, and the Fall Brochure. There'll be a Santa Eve event in December 9th at St. John's. And town clerk, the tax collection has been turned into the county. The town clerk's office received an award from DEC for the most improved on selling habitat and access stamps. And she brought up for the eclipse, they should consider getting porta potties ordered early for the eclipse, so that we have to be able to get them because we're going to be hiding in. The supervisor reported that the Scout Park has a new design, and it will be presented at the July Jamboree. Working on the history building and a workshop for new laws for chickens. On the sewers, they should not be hooking up until the lines are ready. Apparently, the company that sells the grinders has come out and inspect to make sure that they're properly installed and hooked up before they're turned on, or it could void the warranty. The locks were going on electric, and this keep them from hooking up until ready. We're working on the Farm Fest and farmland projects. Supervisor, Councilman Hurlbut, talked with Jeff at Hagen Markets. They haven't seen the funding come through yet. And that's for the farm program. They need a decision on engineer firm. And the highway superintendent saying the Lakeshore sewer district, he's told about getting a contractor versus having his staff. Comparing what other towns are doing. What they're talking about is manpower to maintain that. Because they had one person taken away from the water district, went from Hamlin, the water district, to Miller County Water Authority. And now they'll have two sewer districts, but they'll have one person in the sewer district. They're looking at how we're going to handle the new sewer district. Hamlin tells us that we'll need staff and equipment. So Steve started working on finding the manholes and flushing them out. New building and storage for the sewer road, where all the funds come from. And we move forward. One quote was $200,000.
Wow.
And Councilman Boss said, bring the drawing, we need to take care of this by next meeting. So we went for sales bids, and then we'll go.
All right, thank you. Lewis, zoning board.
All right, so only one chicken at the zoning board this time. So the first item when we did it was a public hearing for Gina and Stephen Ruggles at 1417 Brookage Drive. They want to have 6 chickens on less than an acre of land, and they want to keep them within 50 feet of the lot. So there was no one there, so that motion was granted. The next one was a public hearing for Thomas Caladrillo at 660 Walker Lake, Ontario Road. He wants to put a detached garage, his portable barn essentially, on his property. And so he's already got 3 structures on the property, so he needs relief from that town code, so put 4. And then it'll also increase his the lot covered with impervious surface over the 10% limit, so it's going to be 17.8%. There were no speakers for that, and so the board was really granted both of those variances. And then the last two items on the agenda were just first time appearances only for variances. First one was Ronald Bragg at 1545 Walker Lake, Ontario Road. He wants to put a third structure on his property, it's sort of art tools, and it's an RL zoning, RL zoning district, so normally two accessory structures are allowed. What's the third one? This current garage is full. So they scheduled a public hearing for next month for that one. And then the last one was Scott Caladrilli at 112 Ross Cove. He wants to also add a pole barn on the property that there's no dwelling on the property now. So there's currently a shed that's not permanent that they're going to take down and replace it with this pole barn. So basically, a public hearing for that.
Did they say anything on that one about the height of the pole barn?
28 feet.
So
Wow.
they also need a variance for that.
40 by 60. 24 square feet.
People combines in there or what?
It's a big one, especially if that shoreline residential area.
That's it.
Okay. Denise, do we have a friend's report?
I do have a question. Because I Love My Park Day has been so successful for the last 10, 11 years, Parks and Trails New York State Parks, and the New York State DEC are introducing themed statewide stewardship days in 2023 throughout the summer and fall. So it's going to kind of build on volunteers helping parks and state lands to help do whatever projects need to be done because volunteers do a great job. So the first event they planned is called Campground Days on July 8th. And so it's up to any particular park or state area to decide what projects they want to do for Campground Days. I believe the Friends of Hamlin Beach and in conjunction with the park manager, they're talking about, another beach cleanup, you can only do things on the beach. Cleaning up the recreation hall. Trying to think what else. I think there were about 4 projects. But anyway, just like with I Love My Park Day, if you're interested in participate, you have to register. And I have something I'm going to get to show with the address to register, but it's at ptny.org, parksandtrailsnewyork.org. And you register just as people are registered for I Love My Park. Hamlin Beach State Park applied for a grant, and they did receive $29,118 for handicapped accessible beach equipment. And this includes 3 movie mats and a floating beach chair. And the movie mats allow handicapped people, wheelchairs, even strollers, anything that they go down this mat and they go across the beach and get down to the water. So
That'd be nice.
I believe they already have one. They have one, and they've got 3 more, so that was approved. They received a grant for that. Some of the members of the Friends are busy monitoring the bluebird and purple martin houses. They do this on, I believe, a weekly basis. And they reported that 13 purple martin nests was found in the purple martin houses.
Wow.
And 32 bluebirds have already fledged this year, and I guess they're working on their second batch.
Wow. Do we have anybody for zoning workshop?
I was gonna
Okay.
We discussed, new chicken law, chickens. It's not gonna be a permit anymore, it's gonna be like a license. And it's going to encompass the amount of chickens per lot size is going to be changed. We're going to have to include the license, so that they need a permit for the cook. And we have to go out and we'll make sure it's in the right spot. It's gonna be a little more challenging. That's a new law that we're gonna get a public hearing, I think on Wednesday, and then it's gonna be for July 13th to 12th, on the dates on that. And then board. And then we talked about noise. There's gonna be a new code for noise, a new code for campers along the lake shore in the town. And then we discussed the building code and the changes that the state wanted. And that's about it.
It's about the campers.
That you're gonna have to, I can remember this. One of the restrictions is you're gonna have to have potable water and like a Monroe County certified waste disposal. That's one of the big killers. And they're still gonna have to have their permits.
Do you have a camper on your property, is that what you said?
No, for persons who wanna keep their camper like in someone else's property. Because right now you cannot occupy or live in a camping trailer. So it's all this. I can't say too much about it, but it'll all come out July.
So unless, would this be the July,
10th?
town board meeting?
Yes. Is it the 10th?
There's one on the 10th and then one on the
Yeah,
26th.
we have the 10th.
One on the 10th.
And that's about it for zoning workshop.
Alrighty, I need to know about them chicken laws. We, I,
I think everybody that got chickens in the past like month or so, not grandfathered, but I don't think the new law is going to affect them going forward.
Yeah, a lot of people, in residential areas,
Mhm.
having chickens in, I don't know if it's gonna cause an issue or not.
I don't know.
Even with hens, there's noise.
They do cackle a little bit.
Well, they make
Yeah.
a lot of noise when they're laying eggs.
I don't know about that. I could always,
Still used to know that.
again, I know, it's still there. He was supposed to get rid of it 2 weeks ago, and it's still there, so. Yeah, he's been there forever, and then there's one on Brook Edge, Green Ridge, there's one. And I had to really like rehome him.
I grew up there when, when I had chickens near me all the time, so a rooster doesn't bother me at all. I know it does bother some.
It does some people, they have had complaints, so we just can't keep the noise.
Well, especially since sometimes they start even before the sun rises.
They do, they're like at 4 AM till like, I don't know,
Oh, yeah.
8 PM, you know?
But does this change the rule that you can have 10 chickens on 1 acre? Does it change that rule?
That rule was, yes, that's what they changed. I think the amount is, I'm not sure, is it 8, 12, and 18?
Maybe 6.
Probably 6.
I don't even know if it's, I know 6 is the minimum, but you can have, with the new
Yeah, so
code, you can have more,
Yeah,
certainly.
sure.
I mean, years ago, you had to have 5 acres to have chickens at all, which was kind of silly. I was having 5 acres just to have 6 chickens. So then they changed it to 10 chickens per acre basically.
But the zoning board has a lot of variances for chickens.
Right, it's,
Yeah, I didn't need really.
yeah, a ton of them, yeah.
But the new code will come out, I think it's gonna be posted.
Is it gonna be specific to the zoning area, like whether it's residential or RPL or?
I'm not sure what it is.
I lent my incubator to 2 different first grade classes
Oh,
and, gave them each a dozen eggs from,
This wouldn't
that
happen to be
is,
where
that
your
is so,
grandkids are.
that's so nice.
one of them is, but the other one was around a quake.
Okay,
And so both classes, well, one is just beginning, they hatched out, I gave them, 12 eggs and 9 of them have hatched so far. And they didn't think about where the chickens had to go after they get so big. So I wound up being a foster chicken or foster parent to more baby chicks than what I had ever planned to
And of
do.
course, they're straight running, right?
Well,
You don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the proverbial fox got into my first chick house
Mm-hmm.
and wiped out all but Muffin. Muffin survived the attack, and so they had baby chicks for $1.50 at Runnings. So I ran down to Runnings real quick and got
Old Fields Material.
a wound up with 4 ducks and 6 chickens. And then all these people that were supposed to have homes for all these other ones, it's like, oh my goodness. Now, but my granddaughter, was funny, because I says, well, you know, we're gonna have to get rid of some of the boy chickens. She says, yeah, but there's not enough meat on them right now to butcher them.
Oh, my goodness.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
That's my girl.
Crazy.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting.
All right, thank you. We'll move right into the Amlin Waterfront Committee with the same members being present. We have any referrals?
The one was the one I mentioned in the planning board, which was 113 West Cove, which is the existing dwelling remodel. That was the one,
Mhm.
basement house that what they're gonna build above it. That was consistent. 7882 Newco Drive, I mentioned that one, that we want to do the dock and some stairs to access the lake, and that was consistent. And then 112 Rock Cove, which is the same owner as 113, and that's the full bar
Right.
that was mentioned for the zoning repair. And it's consistent to have a fine yard. I don't know whether they get the variances or not, but it's consistent to have it there. 5700 West Watoma Beach, I timed that perfectly when I did the inspection because they were just digging the hole for the grinder across the street. And I think this house was gonna be next, and it would have been hard to do the inspection. But the folks who've lived there for almost 20 years, with the same fence up there that's really in need of being replaced. And so we're just gonna tear down the old fence and put up a new fence. It's all consistent, but it is within, 100 feet of the lake. 34 Lake Road East Fork is also a deck. They've got a deck, but they want to change the configuration to be much improved. They have a DEC permit, and right now, they're still waiting. Apparently, they need a permit from the Army Corps. That was what the homeowner shared with me, so, I mean, it's consistent as far as we're concerned, but, they're going to get this permit. So, everything I looked at was consistent this time.
Beautiful. All right, we have any discussions on anything? Anybody have any information, thing coming up? Hearing none, we have a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn this Hampton Conservation Advisory Board. All in favor?
Right?
Aye. So carried. Ladies and gentlemen, have a safe summer.
Yes.